Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is West Coast Uncensored calling you, coming to you. WestCoastUncensored.com is alive and kicking, and here we are live. We're on Facebook, and we're gonna be on other platforms. We're on the Anchor platform, which connects to Spotify and to Apple desktops and all kinds of other platforms. Get West Coast Uncensored on all those platforms as we're kicking off and we're going in 2020. We're definitely doing it to it. We're taking it up another notch, and we're coming at you with the best of the best of the best of, whether it's pro football, college football, whether it's NBA, whether it's the Major League Baseball, whether it's the best of professional wrestling. Nobody brings it, from the indie scene to the major wrestling organizations, AEW. We're coming at you with a little bit of news from ROH and Impact. We're talking Ring of Honor, Impact, and we're also talking PCW and even the indies that we can connect to in the Southern California indie scene, because we are West Coast Uncensored, but we go national also. But we got the best of West Coast Uncensored. We're going to cover a little bit now. We're going to do something a little bit different here, and we're going to talk about something that's kind of been really unfolding day by day this whole week, and it's coming out to be, and I think we're just getting the beginning of this thing. This is really going to end up being a black eye, because we're going to do the professional baseball edition, because what the news that's came out this week is not good for professional baseball, and the fact that it could be a definite tarnish. It could be a punch in a big black eye, and I ain't talking about blocking out the sun because you put the black God, what is that called? It blocks out the sun. I used to use it when I used to play back in the day. But anyways, it's definitely going to be a black eye in Major League Baseball. From what we've learned and found out as it's unraveling in the investigations, is that the 2017 World Series, that definitely, it was the Houston Astros who beat the Los Angeles Dodgers, the West Coast Dodgers, West Coast Uncensored, Los Angeles Dodgers in 7 games. In a tough series, winning the 7th game at Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles, putting Los Angeles on hush, and winning a game at taking out Hugh Darvish, which in the first inning, scoring runs. The Dodgers never could get back in the game. I could break down every game what happened, but definitely what's been found out, and it's been the black eye, and it's really every day it just keeps unraveling that it's a deeper rabbit hole, and this rabbit hole I believe is going to go deeper, and I'm going to kind of explain why. Is the fact that not only did the Houston Astros cheated to win the 2017 World Series. They used electronics, they used technology to get messages, from stealing signs to get the messages into the clubhouse, to get the messages, to get the information to the players in the batter's box. They knew what pitches were coming. When you look at some of this, and I was like, man, this is bad and good. But then I was thinking about it as I heard a guy I respect here in Los Angeles, Fred Rogan, kind of break down something. I never thought about it like this, because I was like, there's a lot of stuff going on with this. I mean, LA City's got involved and wants the Dodgers. The Dodgers have already said that they're not going to want a championship like that. And to think the Dodgers are getting the championship out of that, they don't want that. They want to win it on the field, on the crown. But definitely, the more and more I thought about some of the things being said, the more and more I'm looking. I said, here's what's happened. Major League Baseball did this investigation. They came out and said, here's what's happening. Houston, you're guilty. You cheated. We found out you cheated. You're cheaters. Find them. Find the organization. Find the Houston Astros. $5 million. That's the highest you can do anyway. So there is no more of that. I mean, that's kind of in the CBA. You can never find a team any more than $5 million. So they got the max fine. $5 million for a Major League Baseball team. You can make that in one big game at home with sales, ticket sales, selling out the stadium, selling jerseys, food, and all that. I mean, that's no big thing. It's just they had to do it because that's the max to be fine. Here's what kind of hit him in the pocketbook. AJ Hinch, the manager, and the general manager got suspended from Major League Baseball for 1 year. They cannot have anything to do with the Astros or anything to do with Major League Baseball for 1 year. The Astros in 2020 baseball draft have lost their first and second round pick, and in 2021 they lost their first and second round pick. that's that's lacing up the boots. That's hitting them where it counts. That hurts. Those are those draft picks are huge in a team that is able to create volume of young players like the Astros have. Most of them is not free agents or trades. There's a few here and there, and a few free agents after they got established. But most of the foundation of that team was built through the draft and through their promotion of their training and their minor league system. They got a great minor league system, so to take away 4 draft picks from them was huge. And you took away the next 2 years, your top 4 draft picks, you pretty much took away from them the next 2 years, which was, I mean, it hits them where it hurts. But and I go, okay, the Dodgers, I know the Dodgers, and I know some of the Dodger fans say, yeah, I don't see, you're not going to celebrate a World Series you actually didn't win, even though you were cheated out of it. Some might justify, I'm sure the players' organization, they're not wanting to be given a World Series they didn't actually win on the field. But the circumstances are is it's coming out and unraveling. Storylines are coming out every day, how deep this rabbit hole is going to, even going to the next year. That's what I'm talking about. This thing is coming out more and more and more, that not only did they cheat, the Dodgers were back-to-back Western or National League champions, and the next year they played the Red Sox. I thought the Dodgers definitely could be a little bit at advantage against the Astros because the regular season, both of them pretty much had the same amount of wins. I think the Dodgers had 2 more wins and then the Astros. But definitely the 2018, the Red Sox were the best team in baseball, the best record. The Dodgers actually got in with, they had 10 to 12 more losses, but rolled through the playoffs when they really weren't the favorite. There was teams in the other division, they didn't have the home field advantage, and the Dodgers ended up winning the National League again. Now it's reported, and this hasn't fully came out, but believe me, it's going to, because it's starting to roll, because just 2 days later, and let me refer back to this happened after what happened to Houston. After they were told this is what's going to happen to you, you get fined $5 million, you're losing 4 picks. Your manager and the GM are going to be out in baseball for a year, nothing to do with the organization, suspended for a year. 2 hours later, Houston fired the GM and the manager. They fired him within 2 hours after the announcement of what came down on Houston. So we're here 24 hours later. The news comes out that now Boston Red Sox for the 2008 World Series are being heavily investigated, and I believe it's coming down because it's not stopped, the investigation. I expect within maybe a week, maybe early next week, at the latest the week after, we're going to find out what the Red Sox did to win that same World Series. So I'm not naive to believe that these teams weren't doing that even in the divisional round or of the playoffs either, because I don't think you just do it in the World Series and that's it. You've been practicing to try to get this to be the system to work for you, how to get messages to your batters in the box and know what pitches are coming. So now this is coming down where I believe the heat's coming down Boston. When this first came down, people asked the question, why isn't it connected to the players? They're just as involved as management. Baseball doesn't really want to go down that rabbit hole because of the CBA is going to be a new CBA is coming. The Major League Baseball CBA is the strongest of any other sport. It has been for years, except for Pete Rose. It doesn't help Petey. But they don't want to go down there. But now it's starting to go that they may have had devices on them and the players inside their jerseys. People have showed pictures and definitely shown that the devices were being shown, that you could actually see the shape of them. Just within the last 2 or 3 hours, Major League Baseball's made a statement. They couldn't prove there was any devices. But definitely I could see this rolling to the players. So that's kind of what's happened. But from the last report, Major League Baseball is denying the players, and I don't believe they want to go down there because this could be bad if the players are involved. Because now you're talking about a CBA, you're talking about them fighting over the collective bargaining agreement. You could talk about this could really get ugly, and I think we're going to have a lot more ugliness. This isn't over on the Astros part, but that's what the Red Sox did. The Red Sox fired their manager, Alex Cora, the next day, which before this rabbit hole starts, Boston makes the move, lets him go, fires him. That tells me Boston knows it's coming down their lane because there's no reason to fire him. He just won a World Series. Last year they fell off. That has a little bit I don't see the firing him for last year. He won a World Series his rookie year that he was there. I think they kept him. it's coming down on them, so they've already got rid of them to kind of ownership's kind of trying to maybe wash their hands that they weren't involved. So now they're just kind of letting that go. I think that we're going to have a report that Boston was just the same thing, that Boston, the Red Sox were doing the same thing of getting technology and reading the Dodgers pitchers. And I mean, it's coming down. This is going to be a black eye on Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is it's been America's pastime, but for a long time it hasn't been the number one sport here. It was surpassed by football. Started in the 70s, and kind of that ledge of it started going down. And football's definitely planted itself as number one. But now the NBA is just over the last decade or so has passed up Major League Baseball in popularity nationwide. Major League Baseball is nowhere near. Is not even is falling to basketball, and has fallen, but it's fallen into third. The national pastime is the third most popular sport in the United States. So what we have here is we have a situation where this black eye, you fall into third, and now you got a big black eye. It is a big black eye, because I think it's a lot more is going to come out. Just wait and see. I just believe a lot more is going to come out, that you're going to see guiltiness. It's going to include the players. They can tell me that these devices weren't there, but somehow those players got that information and they knew about it, or they were participating in the information. And I was like, man, I've coached football, I've coached basketball, and a little bit of baseball, and a lot of football and basketball mostly. And when you do it through technology and certain things, the way that technology is now, it means it was planned, it was organized to cheat, to steal signs. If somebody on the field reads signs and steals it, that's just part of the game. But this thing is taking it to another level with technology. I believe that this is just kicking off with Major League Baseball. Definitely was. I don't think this is done at all. We're going to get what the Red Sox did. We're going to find out what the Red Sox did to cheat, which I believe is probably really the same thing as what we're seeing with the with Houston. It was getting technology to their hitters, what the pitches are. And back again, I'm going to go to this. And I was thinking, well, that's part of the game. It really isn't in the cheating way that they did it. But and then Fred Rogan, and this is definitely a LA thing. Everybody knows Clayton Kershaw's has historic regular season numbers that went back to the early 1900s, matching early 1900s records. Great. I mean, he's Hall of Fame regular season numbers. You cannot say nothing bad about what Clayton Kershaw. I mean, he's great. Regular season and the things he did. He's not what he was just within the last couple of years, because he is in that mid-30s, and he did start young, and he did go hard and pitch a lot of innings. I mean, he had numbers that were unmatched to pitchers that were over 100 years before his time. That's how proficient his records were on that status. And then Fred Rogan said you have a guy like Clayton Kershaw with a legacy, and part of the legacy a lot of people have, and people feel it in LA, and then definitely people who are not Dodger fans love to rub it in, is he's great in the regular season but don't finish it in the playoffs, and that kind of hangs over him. But think about this for Clayton. In Game 5, he had a 4-run lead, gave that up, was given another 3-run lead and gave that up. I can't say for sure, but was that due to cheating? Cheating now, when you take that paradigm and look at it and what happened, this cheating by the Astros and possibly the Red Sox affects Clayton's legacy. A man that blamed himself and now may be finding out the reality he was cheated on, that they knew what he was throwing, not because they read the pitch in the batter's box, or the third base coach read it, or the first base coach, or the pitching coach, that they had a system to cheat to know what everybody was throwing. And then you have a man that's legacy is in a high, all-time great legacy, but has this little stigma that he can't get it done in the postseason. And now he's finding out that he didn't get it done maybe in Game 5 in Houston when he had those two big leads, was maybe because the Astros were cheating. Think about that. It gets deep. that gets deep on emotional, because Clayton wears his collar. I mean, he came out and has said, it's my fault, it's my fault, for other times. He did it in the playoffs this year. I didn't do it. I didn't produce. What everybody says about me is true. He said that. And I was, I was not, when you look at that. But maybe Houston had its part in it by its cheating. This is not, I'm going to throw another person. Hugh Darvish. Was the cheating what got Hugh Darvish the big home runs at the certain times and the big hits that got to Hugh Darvish, who was actually settled down and actually dominated the Cubs and just shut them down in the playoffs? And as he ended that regular season and in the playoffs that he pitched, Hugh Darvish was on top of his game, but in the World Series he wasn't good. I mean, people were coming down on him. LA was not happy, but was it because the Astros cheated? And what kind of cheating has gone on in the 2018 World Series that we're seeing, that's going to come out any day now? I believe within the next 7 to 10 days at the most, you're going to see that the Red Sox were doing the same thing, that their cheating was there. And then how it's affected one team that they cheated against, the Los Angeles Dodgers. But here's another thing I heard today, that it came out that in the talks of all this, that they're reluctant to get everybody involved in, because I think it was the Astros or the Red Sox, one of the players or one of the executives said out of this, if this thing does open up, you're going to find out that it's multiple teams. It could be as many as 8 to 10 teams have been doing this cheating for a while. So we looked at the 1990s, when we had the scandals of the steroid era and all these asterisks that you don't have Roger Clemens in the Hall of Fame and you don't have Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame because of their substance abuse of using steroids to be better players. And now you're going to have this the cheating asterisk of the 2000 and in the 2000 and teens, the late 2000 and teens, that you have world championships caught cheating in the World Series. The last time we had any kind of thing like this for Major League Baseball was the 1919 World Series, with what was called the Black Sox scandal, when the Black Sox actually threw games and threw the World Series because of betting. So, man, just everybody pay attention. This thing is not over. It is, to me, it's just beginning. This can get very ugly for Major League Baseball. It's something they don't need. But Major League Baseball has dropped to third in popularity. Still makes a lot of money. It's very regional. Everybody in the region and their team is following the region, but it's not like the NFL or even NBA to a sense. It's not so national. It's very regional. People know the regional teams, may not know what's going on with the other teams, unless you're really really into baseball. But a lot of people like it regionally, and it is popular regionally and stuff. But this is kind of what's happened. So beware. The Red Sox are going to come out next, because cheating in baseball is happening. World Series cheating in baseball is happening. This is D-Boy. Think about this one. West Coast Uncensored. Was Clayton Kershaw's legacy affected by the cheating of the Astros? And possibly the cheating of the Red Sox, but the Astros sticks in my mind completely what happened. From West Coast Uncensored, remember, westcoastuncensored.com's alive. Get on there. We're still building. It's still there, and we have dropping videos there. We're dropping some other information. Got some great pictures. The best of professional wrestling, the best of all sports, college or pros. West Coast Uncensored. This is D-Boy from West Coast Uncensored. You guys have a great day.